Thank you, Mr. President, my dear colleagues. My name is Suleiman Abrahaman Kawu Sumaila, representing Kano South Senatorial District from Kano. Mr. President, I am one of the co-sponsors of this motion, and I 100% align myself with the content and prayer of this motion. Mr. President, I believe, and it is very common knowledge to us, that nobody is supporting crime or any act of terrorism in Nigeria. The government and the good people of Nigeria are doing their own best to make sure that we are living in a very peaceful and conducive atmosphere. In our constituencies, which may surprise some of Nigerians, is that I have so many Christians in my own constituency, over 50 churches from my own constituency, and we are living peacefully with them. There was nobody is complaining. And they are from Kano. They have their churches. When you go to Kano, even the municipality of Kano, you will find out that there are so many churches and Christian center, and they are doing their activities day in, day out. And in some cases, our governors or previous governors are in one way or the other join hands with them to provide security to entire Kano. Some of the leaders of Kano in my own state are members of the Security Council, and they are members of our traditional institution. They are doing their own best. It is a surprise for us to hear a Congress like United States Congress, where all of us were frauding, to come up with this kind of bill, where most of Nigerians are very ignorant on the content and the intent of the bill, which, with your permission, Mr. President, I will read the prayer or the intent of the bill, which if for any reason they pass it, it will be a very dangerous to us, both the Christian and Muslim. One, the bill is Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025. Specifically will impose targeted sanctions against Nigerian officials who facilitate violence against Christians and other religious minorities, including by Islamic terrorist group. Impose targeted sanctions against Nigerian officials who impose Sharia and blasphemy laws in their state. Requires the Secretary of State to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Country of particular concern. Then requires the Secretary of State to ensure that Boko Haram and the ISIS West Africa remain designated and the entities of particular concern, which we all agree. We condemn their activity. We are not in support of what they are doing, and we all agree that what they are doing is un-Islamic. It is not in line with the Islamic norm and culture. And finally, sir, I am seriously worried if a parliament like US Congress or a senator, per se, a higher ranking senator or a higher ranking member of the Congress will come up with a very uninformed position. With me, sir, I have 50 places where militia or non-state actors attack Muslim when they are observing religious activities. 50, it is here, sir. We don't have time to read it. And finally, we have some places, almost 10 places from 2015 to today, where mistakenly, the Nigerian Air Force attacked and killed so many Muslims. The recent one is in Kaduna. They are coming from Maulid. 120 innocent Nigeria, men and women. We are there to commiserate with them in Borno and in so many places. It is still fresh in our mind. In 2014, a terrorist bombed Jumat mosque in Kano, where over 250 people died. We have all the documents with us, and I think as a parliament, we must take a position and we must join hands with the government to inform the US and the US Congress that the position they are taking is not in tandem with the reality of what is going on. And we condemn criminal acts, we condemn terrorists, we are not in support of them, and we will do everything possible to make sure that we have a peaceful Nigeria. And finally, I am commending our clergies, more especially Khan, who yesterday issued a statement, and so many well-meaning Nigerians who shows their concern on this issue. I supported and second this very important motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Jimoh Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Senate President. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Jimoh Ibrahim, representing Ondo South. I'm in alignment with the brilliant submission in respect of this bill, this motion. But let me just make a short comment. We need to engage knowledge at this time to understand the strategy of the terrorists. We must come to terms to understand the strategy of the terrorists and their praxis. And I think, Mr. Senate President, there might be need for us to have a closed session because it's a security matter. So distilment of fundamental information that are very secret cannot be said here openly. We need to understand the tactics and the praxis of the terrorists. And we must now engage the executive about counterterrorism, because the argument is that most of the launch counterterrorism approach are not sufficient enough to actually engage the terrorists. The summary of my submission is that unless we can place in proper perspective the strategy of the terrorists, it will be difficult, Mr. Senate President, unless we engage knowledge and know the strategy of the terrorists. It will be difficult for us to actually suggest what counter-terrorism strategy that you will engage to get this thing out of us. It's not a sympathy matter. The moment the United States Senate knows that we are doing this engagement, then obviously speaking, they cannot pass anything over there. The key thing, the summary of my submission is that we must engage knowledge, one, to understand the strategy of the terrorists. If we get that one documented and we know it very well, we must now know what counter-terrorism are we going to use before we go to dissemination of information and political propagandas and all the rest. Life is priceless, Mr. Senate President. And I must thank you again for approving security summits in this Senate, being headed by Senator Okoyemi also. And I think this is very important. But before I take my seat, I must say clearly, it is not all the matters that we know of that we can discuss here. We must go into executive session to particularly to define and redefine our counter-terrorism. I'm just back from the United Nations Counter-Terrorism Conference, and I was able to persuade the participants there from about 180 countries that our counter-terrorism approach adopted by Mr. President in respect of Rivers State was the best to do, because we cannot allow Nigeria, to be a battleground for intervention engagement arising from insufficient security from outsider. And they agree with me, but they were able to get the information that the executive counter-terrorism was not lawless. And I challenge them. Mention one person that was killed in Rivers State within the 6 months of state of emergency. That means our counter-terrorism works very well there. In this matter, on this motion, Mr. Senate President, there is need to engage knowledge. Let's refer back to executive session at appropriate time to discuss and evaluate terrorist strategy. Then we will be able to define counter-terrorism strategy that we will adopt to make, it's not a matter of Christian or Muslim or whatever. Once we do this, we have a better way to go. Thank you very much for this short snap. Thank you.
Well, that is coming from the only man with a PhD in warfare, Professor